Welcome into a dog days of summer edition of the Great North American Sports Show, but it's a little bit of an NBA a little bit of an NBA off-season summer cooler edition of GNASS. John, how are things north of the border?
They are hot and humid, my friend. Very, very hot. A lot of thunderstorm warnings. So if you're up here, guys, stay dry if it's during the thunderstormy times, but the rest of the time, like, stay cool because
Yeah,
it's
it looks like it's
very
about
hot.
to looks like it's about to monsoon here. It has
Ay,
no
ay, ay.
one, no loved ones have asphyxiated on the wildfire smoke up there, have they?
No, not yet, thankfully. But
All right.
it's actually been not, like I said, very, very good in terms of for the most part, it's mostly just humid. But how about you in the Shire?
The weather gets crazier every day, John, and so it's 98 heat index right now, but it looks like the sky is going to collapse at any minute. So yeah, this is going to great apocalypse. We're entering in geologic time. But John, the first thing we got to touch off the bat is Bronny James, LeBron James's son. We've heard about his recruitment now since he was in eighth grade. Collapses at his first USC practice. Certainly a very very scary moment for the James family.
Yeah, terrifying situation. Our thoughts and prayers, obviously, with them. Just, I mean, quite honestly, speechless for it to happen to such a young man. Obviously, like to your point, with even with the spotlight on him, and I'm not saying that the pressure causes, but just because the spotlight's on him too, it sort of intensifies almost that feeling for everyone and puts it in the national attention. And like I was saying, so hopefully to him, like a speedy recovery. He seems to be doing a lot better now, especially based on LeBron's statements. And yeah, Alex, do you have anything else on the matter? Or
Yeah, I mean, so LeBron he tweeted just to thank everyone for the thoughts and prayers that his family's received so far. He said that his family, if I'm paraphrasing, but is together again, which is the important thing. I mean, certainly for Celtics fans, their mind immediately goes to Reggie Lewis. Who he collapsed. His team of cardiologists said he could never play basketball again, and there's a story there, but he eventually found a doctor that did clear him, and it ended tragically. So for a young man who seemed to have his whole basketball life ahead of him, you're glad that he's safe, but now you wonder if he's ever even going to play high level basketball. So yeah, definitely a scary incident.
absolutely. And Alex, I mean, it's definitely a tough subject. Like we said, thoughts and prayers again, all out to LeBron James and the family and Bronny James. And I mean, let's move on though. If we can, to a lighter subject. Alex, it is the NBA offseason, so we're going to hit you with a GNAS quick shot NBA short, if you will. Alex, we finally, actually, hang on. Let's pause on the finally part because that was a big trade. Let's start first with the summer league because we had a quick dosage of some NBA summer league basketball. How are you feeling about the summer league these days?
So just a big picture thoughts here, and I wrote a long ode to the summer league on the GNAS Substack. But what I guess this has become a spectacle now, John. The entire league migrates out to Las Vegas. It's the now summer base for the sport, and I guess it'll be interesting when the NBA expands. Pretty much, it's all but confirmed it's going to be Vegas and Seattle, and Seattle deserves to have an NBA team again, no doubt. But so we figured that the Vegas team might even get a leg up, but I just this is I remember being a huge basketball geek, when I was in middle school, and I got angry because I couldn't find the Celtics summer league games because they'd be buried on NBA TV and they wouldn't even show them live. And so now to think that, this is for hardcore hoop heads, like they're making the pilgrimage out to Vegas in the summer. Like it's like you going to Mecca if you're of the Islamic faith. You got to go make the pilgrimage out to Vegas at least once for the summer league. But
I
now,
I don't think going to Vegas in the summer is the worst thing you could do either.
yeah, well, I mean, you're going to the dead, like the least sustainable place on earth. But anyways, but it just seems like with all this attention on it now, the teams, they're the last people to get the memo because they just sit out all these players. Wembanyama struggled in his Vegas debut. Then he came back and put up a double with like 8 blocks. And like, all right, yeah, I mean, we're good. We're good here. We've seen we've seen enough. And like, I can't fault the teams for doing that because, you know, like I said this in the story, the only thing worse than Victor Wembanyama turning into Greg Oden is if he only gets the microfracture surgery in a summer league game and not a regular season NBA game. So, so it's this interesting dichotomy, right? But it's still fun because I just like watching these players that, at best case scenario, the team that they're trying to get a roster spot on has maybe 2 or 3 openings, the 2-way deals notwithstanding. That's the best case scenario. There's like a, you know, you're the Detroit Pistons maybe, and you got 2 empty roster spots. And you're like, well, let's bring some guys in a summer league and have them fight it out. Like, that's cool. Like that's fun to watch. And so you kind of get a sense of like the philosophy of how these teams view building out the rest of their roster, even though they don't play meaningful minutes in the playoffs. But
sometimes you find a gem, but yeah, it's more or less just more training camp competition just to keep the guys sharp. That's basically what it is.
Absolutely. And it's just more basketball because I don't know about you, John. I've mostly tuned out to baseball this season. It's
been a bit of a rough go.
It's been a rough go for sure. But yeah, did you turn any summer league action, John?
Not too much. I caught a little bit of the Raptors games with Grady Dick. I tried to catch Wemby, but obviously the first game was a little bit underwhelming to say the least. But Alex, I think that's enough on the summer league for now.
That's really all we can talk about.
I know, and the spectacle that it is. Fun gambling on it, but I think that's where it ends. But like we said, good thing.
I think I came out no richer or no poorer. I think it's right, which you know, it's better than losing.
Do what you can, my friend. But you did finally get the trade that you want to see, Alex. Marcus Smart is out the door. Kristaps Porzingis is in. How are you feeling about the Celtics now? And also, Jaylen Brown, new contract. So yeah. How are you feeling about the new look Celtics?
And they lost Grant Williams too, and it was essentially
that's why I said.
So you know, I gotta say, John, as someone who's called for this trade since the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, when Marcus Smart and Terry Rozier took turns shooting the Celtics out of Game 7 against the Cavs in that fourth quarter, I didn't know how good it would feel when the day finally came, because I knew Marcus Smart was going to have to be traded. Like, he was going to have to be traded for this team to ultimately become what we hope that they become, or at least what I hope they become. And damn, did that feel good. I went to bed that night thinking that we had traded Malcolm Brogdon. I was like, he just won 6th man of the year. Like, this is maybe not the best look. Like, and then to wake up and see Marcus Smart traded for Kristaps Porzingis. Oh my God. Like, it just, like, Marcus Smart was a fine player, but I don't, maybe this happens elsewhere and I just only like see it through the Boston, you know, the Celtics, the shamrock colored glasses here. But man, does this city overrate its role players. Like, for a team that lacked hustle and grit and tenacity when they needed it most in the playoffs these last few years, why did we overrate the player that supposedly gave us the grit and tenacity? Like, so I just think that having Marcus Smart off this roster, it is addition by subtraction. You know, he's not going to take bad shots. Like, there's no one to take bad shots that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can do. And you bring in a better player in Kristaps Porzingis, who I think he's going to fit in really well as a third piece.
He's a better player. He's a risky player because he tends to miss.
He was probably on a contract drive last year.
It's not even that like it's a contract grab with him. Like, he's a fantastic player. It's his they always say, Alex, your best ability is availability, and that's one of his biggest struggles is availability.
Most games played the past season.
That's true, but again, it's been a struggle to keep him on the court his whole career, and we are in an age of load management. So provided him and Rob Williams can just make it to the playoffs, the Celtics should be in good shape. But
Right. Now the only concern is, does the freaking coach just have the 7-3 guy stand on the 3-point line? Because then I think you're only giving yourself 60 to 70% of what Porzingis can do offensively if you're not going to play him in the post and have him, play in a variety of different spots on the offensive end.
he's an interesting one. Like I said, I think a big thing with Porzingis is he probably cannot give you the offensive level that he once was when he was that unicorn on the Knicks. That's not to say that he isn't a near elite level player, can be an all-star type player. I just think his game is a bit different now, just since he's experienced so many injuries. But that being said, like I said, I think he's an extraordinarily effective player on both ends of the floor, and I think he can give the Celtics a lot. And to your point, even if he gets buried on the 3-point line, man, he's a good shooter. So look at the
Yes, it's
positives
better than
here.
Marcus Smart being stuck out there and the defense
Yes,
is
and
sagging off him and daring him to shoot.
in addition to that, just the concept that as a big, Porzingis can offer you more tools. Like to your point, like in the post, driving, pick and roll, all these different kind of options that you maybe don't get from Rob Williams or Al Horford, or at least together in one player. And because you have this, I think even if the coach calls his number a little bit oddly, you're going to see the players call their own plays in a way that's going to adapt Kristaps a little bit more. And Alex, keep in mind, we live in a day and age where if they don't, he's just going to probably ask for a trade.
Right, and because you mentioned the Brown contract extension was probably the biggest piece of news with the Celtics. In the 2025 offseason, after the 24-25 season, Brown, and then assuming that they're going to pay Jason Tatum, if they pay Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum's next, and that's probably going to be $400 million. Brown, Porzingis, and Tatum are going to make up 90% of the Celtics cap going to 25. So there's really no more excuses for the Boston Celtics. They've just been overrated in some fashion. So if they don't get a title out of this in the next 2 years, then I mean, look out below. That's all I'm saying. It will definitely be belt and shoelaces time for Alex.
You never know, buddy. It can go either way with these things, especially given some of the difficult and high pressure situations that we see in the playoffs. So, hey man, I got my fingers crossed for you guys, and you do have a very talented roster right now with the addition of Kristaps Porzingis. The big man can shoot. Big man can shoot.
Yes, and I think as long as there's someone there, and this allows, I think, Tatum and Brown to take ownership of the team, which I think it was hard to do with Marcus Smart. The longest tenured Celtic, kind of above them in that pecking order, not talent wise, but just kind of as the emotional. I use the term leader loosely because I don't think he was a great leader either.
I don't.
John, before we say
leadership is sometimes elected by the coach. That's all I was gonna say.
yeah, I think then that's why the coach is still suspect for me. And this might be a one year deal with Missoula if he doesn't get the job done. Because why else bring in Sam Cassell, who they have no professional as an assistant coach. They have no professional
Ties.
connection through basketball. So I think Cassell's really the guy in waiting.
All right, guys. Catch you on the next GNASS short.